Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another Neuron Live episode. I'm Corey, for anyone who doesn't know, here with our co-host and the Neuron's daily writer, Grant Harvey.
Rant Harvey?
Grant Harvey. Some days.
Pretty much. I will take it. I will accept it.
That's a good nickname, Rant. I think we're going to
rant against the machine.
Rant against the machine. Oh man, well we're sure excited to have some folks in here already. We're just getting up and live here, and we're gonna give folks a couple to get in, get settled. Great to see you folks, and hopefully this will be a lot of fun. You know, the truth is we are learning this as well. You know, it's important to remember this has only been out about a week. It's not that dissimilar from. It's kind of like almost a middle ground between Zapier and N8N, in my opinion, in the time I've spent with it in some uniquely different ways. I
think it's even like more complicated or powerful, I think you could say, than both of those from my limited experience so far.
That's awesome. Yeah. That's awesome. And so today what we're going to do is we're going to walk through this. We're going to show it off, let everybody take a look. We're going to talk about each of the different tools available, the different features. We'll run through all the different nodes. And, you know, by the end, we're going to try and build a couple minor agents, you know, because some of these can get into a hiccup. But the idea here is more to equip you with the knowledge you need to go start building these on your own when we're done. These usually last a couple hours, and we're all here. So let's see. First, quick note, if you don't and already subscribe to the Neuron Daily AI newsletter, please drop by the neuron.ai and sign up. We really appreciate it. It goes out to a ton of people every single day. Well, not every single day. It doesn't go out on Saturdays and some Sundays, but for the most part, it goes out every day. And we'd love to have you there. We hope you'll subscribe to the channel if you enjoy this and watch a lot more. We've got a really cool video that dropped this morning, just for a quick update. I'm going to find it and drop a link into the chat. Unless, Grant, is that what you're doing already?
No, but I can do that.
Oh, it's okay. I've got it up. I can pull it up. We interviewed Carrie Brisky, the VP of Generative AI Software from NVIDIA. And it just dropped late last night, and there's an email announcement going out probably right any second, if I had to guess. Wouldn't you say, Grant? And
yeah. I'm working on it at the moment. Yeah.
Oh man. And you know, the hope is that this will be really good. What's interesting though is we go a lot deeper than this interview isn't about GPUs. Everybody knows NVIDIA builds GPUs, they're powering the AI industry. It's not that's very much been their focus in the news of late, but the truth is they do a lot more than that. They have a mountain of software that they are involved in. They have other chip projects for different platforms, different things. But what we're talking to her about in this other video today is Nemotron, which is their suite of open source AI models. Now something to note there real quick for just why this is interesting and why we wanted to talk to them about it is most of what we or other people are calling open source AI is technically open weights. It's not actually like open source code. Here are the data sets we trained it on. Here's all of the information. NVIDIA has released everything. Their models are genuinely open source. Like you can do anything with them. All the training's there. I want to say they have 500 different public models on their Hugging Face repo right now. And there are a ton of training data sets clear down to their robots. I mean, if it's a lot and it's all right there, free to go download and use if you understand how to do that. And if you don't, we've always got stuff we can share with you that will help with that as well. We've done a few demos along those lines, but it's a really cool chat. We chat about that. We also even get in a little bit about what it's like working at a company that just shot up to being the biggest company in the world. And or at least maybe the biggest company in the world. I should have checked that.
Certainly the highest market cap company.
Certainly the highest market cap in the United States and much farther. So yeah, we brought them in to have a good chat, and we got a bunch of things going on too in the short term.
Yeah, it's definitely NVIDIA. 4.4 trillion as of right now. Yeah, Microsoft's at 3.8, Apple's 3.6.
Yeah.
So yeah, NVIDIA's huge.
Huge. A couple other things to have on your radar. We will be at Adobe Max week after next. We'll be doing some interviews from there, getting some footage around the floor, trying out their latest AI tools with Firefly.
Corey, do you know you have a cat in your background?
I know she has no respect whatsoever.
That's very on brand for the Neuron.
That's very on brand for the Neuron to have a cat just roaming and meow. So yeah, the other thing we're going to go to that we ought to talk about just a little bit here as well is we'll be at the Tech Equity AI Summit in San Francisco. That is November 7th and 8th. And I don't have my information pulled up in front of me.
The chat, Corey, the chat thinks your cat is AI generated.
She is. She's not real. Truth is, she's like 19. She's really old. She has been around. She has seen some days, and her name is Melody. And the reason her name is Melody is because when we adopted her, they said this cat won't shut up. So she just constantly row. So they named her Melody. And she's awesome. Relentless, but she's my buddy. Cool. So yeah, back to Tech Equity AI Summit. Let me share this up here real quick. We'll show you what we're looking at while Grant's getting everything set up on his end to be able to show us some cool demos and walk us through the platform. This is Tech Equity AI Summit. It is going to be located at the Plug and Play Tech Center, November 7th and 8th in Silicon Valley. Lots of great sessions here. It looks like it's going to be a little bit conference, a little bit demo, a little bit workshop. So, a lot of guests from NVIDIA, AMD, Microsoft, obviously. Snowflake. Snowflake's one of those companies that if you don't know who they are, it's kind of crazy. You probably don't know who they are. But they're in everything, major data lakes, data warehouses, IBM, Stanford, a lot of cool things in here. Adobe, NVIDIA.
We got a question in the chat. Yes, this video is being recorded. So if you can't stay and you need to come back and watch it later, it'll be here on the YouTube channel for you.
Yeah, and I'm also here with Ulysses Martins. Who knows? Maybe one of these days, Melody isn't real, Corey's not real, Grant's not real, and neither am I.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. This will absolutely still be up. We keep all the lives up. They're archived on our channel. You're welcome to go watch any of them. We've had a bunch of fun ones. Really good turnouts, good questions. A lot of great stuff. Let's see here. What else do I want to show on this? There was something else that was cool. Keynotes, panels, workshops. The workshops will be really cool. There's an AI exhibit of sorts that supposedly is going to have some robots, things along those lines. Really anxious to check some of that out. But we will likely, from both of these events, be going live, shooting a lot of video, hopefully getting some interviews and whatnot to keep you up with the latest on what we find while we're out there. Should be a lot of fun. All right, Grant. Shall we? We shall.
All right.
Let me pull mine down, add Grant to the stage. Take me off it. All right.
So, for folks who don't know or missed it, or just a bit of context, last week on Monday was OpenAI's Dev Day, and that's when they released the AgentKit and the Agent Builder. So on my screen right now, I'm sharing AgentKit. So this is a complete set of tools.
Increase volume. Hang on 1 second. Is anyone having trouble hearing? Anyone else? Just making sure here. Pulling up. Let me pull up.
I can hear you fine. Can you?
Okay.
Hear me fine?
Yeah, it looks like settings are good. I want to make sure my system settings are.
Maybe he was trying to talk to his AI to get the AI to increase the volume.
I have a real tendency. Let me give this a little extra juice, and maybe that will help too. All right.
Most people are
Okay.
saying
Good deal.
it's okay. Yeah. All
Okay.
right.
Good
So
deal.
anyway, so
Good deal.
AgentKit is a complete set of tools for developers and enterprises to build, deploy, and optimize agents. Until now, building agents meant juggling fragmented tools, complex orchestration with no versioning, custom connectors, manual eval pipelines, prompt tuning, and weeks of front-end work before launch. With AgentKit, developers can now design workflows visually and embed agentic UIs faster using the new building blocks, including their agent builder, which is a visual canvas for creating and versioning multi-agent workflows. We'll show you that in a minute.
That's what we'll be working in shortly. Yeah.
Connector Registry, which is a central place for admins to manage how data and tools connect across OpenAI products.
So
It's
like
very
MCPs
cool.
and API connections. And if anyone needs to know what any of this is, don't hesitate to ask us to clarify if you don't know something. We absolutely are comfortable and happy to stop anytime we get a little rambly.
We got a question in the chat to see if you can increase the slide size. Looks like perhaps I
Let's
can.
see.
Looks like I can do it on my side. Then there's also the ChatKit, which is a tool for embedding customizable chat-based experiences inside your product. So we'll discuss this and how it works, but essentially it's taking the code that you design with the agent builder, it turns that into code that you can then put into your product in order to launch your own chat-based experiences. So
very cool, very cool. Have you spent much time with this yet, Grant? Just curious.
Yeah, so I've been playing around with it. We played around with it the first day that it came out, and it was totally broken.
Yeah.
It wasn't working for us.
Because launch day, and that's how launch day goes for everything, it seems like.
Yeah, and then this past week I've been watching tutorials and trying to figure it out. And in fact, I will share some of the videos that I've watched to help me understand it. So you all can watch those and work on them on your own time as well. It's very, very, very helpful. I recommend everyone use YouTube tutorials to learn things. It's very good.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, and we've found some good ones, and we've both done quite a bit in N8N, just as a heads up too.
Yeah.
As far as building out some various workflows to help with a variety of things we're doing. We have a quick question here, Grant. In the newsletter today regarding Haiku, you all mentioned like having one senior dev directing a team of juniors, except they work at computer speed. Is Haiku or Sonic the senior dev?
That is actually a great question, Damien. I think that Claude is positioning Sonnet to be the senior dev and Haiku to be the junior devs. I'm sure you could try both. I was listening to Theo, like from T3 Chat, if anyone knows him. He was saying that he thinks that Claude Haiku is better because it's so much cheaper. And finally, Anthropic has a cheap model, although admittedly, it's like still 20% more expensive than the last Haiku version that they released.
Yeah.
So he was like, "Why did you raise the price? Why did you have to raise the price? You make enough money," which I thought was funny. But yes, I think the idea is that you use Sonnet for your more like thought-based work and planning, and then you use Haiku for all of your sub-agents. I think that's the way that they're positioning it. Yeah, so that's the idea from my understanding at this point. Corey, I am sharing the agent builder page if we want to go there.
Whoops, I'm sorry. Somehow
no,
I
it's
took
okay.
that down.
No, that was me. So I was switching tabs because I was keeping both of them open.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, so right here, I'm in the agent builder. And one of the first things about agent builder that's a little confusing.
You want to show how to get there first?
Yeah, so I don't think I can show my.
Because I'm assuming a lot of people may not be used to working with the API end of OpenAI.
Yeah, so basically what you have to do is you have to go to platform.openai.com. So this is where whenever you're going to use like your AI outside of just the ChatGPT chat window, you would go to platform.openai.com and you could use that to go to the playground to test out prompts in the playground environment. You can also generate API keys, so you can essentially pay. What the heck? Oh, I got an earthquake drill. Living in California. It's fun stuff.
I heard that through the mic.
Yeah, it's like yelling at me. Let me go ahead and turn that off. The nature of live. So you can, if let's say you wanted to use your ChatGPT tokens over a tool like OpenRouter and compare it against Claude, like for example, Claude Haiku or Gemini 3.0, if that's coming out soon, as is rumored. You basically generate the API key there in the platform, and then you can take it elsewhere. Well, the new thing that they added to the platform is this agent builder here. So I shared the link in the chat. You go to platform.openai.com/agent builder, and that takes you to this screen here.
It's easy to set up an account, by the way, if you don't have one on the API builder. Essentially, an API key is what lets your app or wherever you're using talk to whatever you've set up in the API as like to run your tokens, to run inference, and there's a little fee for that, but it's really small. They go a long ways. And this is entirely different from ChatGPT regular, plus, or pro. Like, you don't go to the ChatGPT site. You go to this site of the link that Grant just threw in there a minute ago. You'll set up a link.
Sign up
They
with
ask you
your
for
account. Yeah.
Yeah. And it won't be, I don't believe they are connected. Are they, Grant?
Stupidly, it'd be nice if when you logged into platform.openai.com, you would logged into your ChatGPT account. For some reason, that's not the case. Perhaps because people have multiple accounts. I don't know why they do that, but it's just not that. But you log in with your ChatGPT login. So
yeah,
once you establish a platform account with your ChatGPT account, you can log in through that. So I see a question in the chat. What is an API key and how does that differ from a ChatGPT membership? So an API key, the simplest way to explain it is it's a key that lets you connect apps to other apps. So it's different in the fact that you pay per use. So a lot of the AI companies have what they call token-based pricing, which means that you pay per 1 million tokens that you use, both input and output. So if you're copying a bunch of text into ChatGPT or over the API when you're sending a request, which is basically just saying, like, if you're using another application and you say, hey, I want to use ChatGPT right now through this application, you're sending a request over the API, and they're an interface that communicates between each other.
It's the phone line between the two.
Correct. And so the input tokens that you put in has a cost associated with it. And then the output tokens that ChatGPT gives you back has a cost associated with it. And there's a blended price there, but they're priced differently, but they're priced at 1 million tokens. So if you send, 500,000 input tokens and you get 500,000 output tokens out, then you're charged whatever the price is. And that could be
input
$1.
is usually half the price of output or less.
Because it's a lot more, it's a lot, just for simple understanding, it's much cheaper to send text to an AI model than have it run all the calculations, generating all this energy and then sending it back to you. So from a pure cost standpoint, it's a lot cheaper for the providers to take input.
And it's good that those are separated, frankly. They absolutely could have just said tokens are X.
Yeah. So to answer the question, you use the API key to call and request tokens, and you put a set budget for the amount of tokens that you want. So let's say you put $10 on your account, and up until you spend $10 worth of tokens, you can continue using that API request. So it's basically
and it goes farther than you think.
Yeah, it does. It does.
You don't need to drop $100 bill in there if what you're doing is just tinkering around. Like, I've seen people with $5 in one before and go for a while. It just depends on what you're doing. And if you're very text specific, or if you're dealing with the image gen models, maybe, or Sora 2 API, which is a thing we might talk about another week too.
To also just put a pin on this, so if you don't have an API account, you can't use the API builder. If you have a ChatGPT account, you have an API account. The only difference is to use tokens. There might still be models that you can run for free. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure there is, maybe 3.5 if that's still around. Actually, I'm pretty sure it's not. But
surely not.
Yeah, certain models are so affordable for them that they give it away for free. But you have to put budget. So that's the only difference. If you have a ChatGPT account, you can use the API but you have to put a set budget for that. So like say $5, $10, whatever it is. You can set monthly budgets. You can also have it re-up. So every time you spend $10, it can automatically charge you for another $10. But then, you just got to be careful because you could be coding away with codecs and you could be running through tokens like,
yeah, you want to watch it and set your limit at something reasonable. You could set it to send you an alert, and it will alert you. Like you'll get an email saying, "Hey, it's time to re-up," or so it's not that hard, and we can find a good tutorial. We may even have one on the site somewhere of how to set up, on the API end. But essentially, you go in, you'll hit dashboard, which takes
actually
you
right
into
here
their playground.
You can see API keys, right?
Yeah.
If you click here, you just create a new key, and then you name it like test key, and then you do create secret key. I'm not going to do it. Just
you would mess with those restrictions too, probably though, because you don't want a lot of permissions that it doesn't need open.
That's fair. Yeah. So for instance, you could say it's like restricted use. It's read only.
Yeah, you can tell it what models you want, what are okay. It's pretty interesting, and it's very simple. It's just click a button, on or off, on or off, on or off.
Yeah, can it do audio? Can it do chat completions, embeddings, fine tuning? There's all sorts of stuff you can do on here, which is really awesome. So this is relevant if you're going to be creating an AI application that you're going to serve to other people. So
or if your agent needs to connect too. Sorry.
No. Yeah, that's the same idea. Exactly. But what we're doing today is, so we've already generated our API key. Anyone who has a ChatGPT account can go log in on the platform, openai.com, generate an API key, set it up, add budget if you need to. And then you can go here to that agent builder. Now, someone was saying that agent builder might still be gated under pro accounts. Is that true, Corey? Do you know?
I have it. And my OpenAI API account is not my ChatGPT account. It's totally separate. So
got it.
It was available in there right away. It may only be available. Maybe it's available in ChatGPT if you're a pro.
I see. That could
maybe. I don't know. We'll have to find that out. We'll find that out before this is over.
Let's do a quick.
Yeah, Grant, you have pro.
Chat.com request. So let's say is ChatGPT's agent builder available to all Plus users?
I don't see it in your list of tools over there. Library codecs.
Oh no, I don't think it shows up here. Yeah, it wouldn't show up on the left-hand side. I think you still have to do it through the platform. So not universally. So ChatGPT agent mode, that's Pro, Plus, and Team. That's not what we're talking about. Agent Builder is in beta and preview. So in practice, Plus alone doesn't guarantee access. You typically need a developer account with billing and be included in the beta rollout. Got it. Okay, this is good to know.
Yeah, and I didn't receive like any notification. I just logged into my API account and was like, oh, cool, it's here, and went from there.
Go check it out. If people have a Plus account, see if you can set this up in real time while we're chatting about this, and we can troubleshoot it together. Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it seems like it might be that you have to have used the API in the past. Well, everyone will get access to this eventually if you don't have it now. So we're going to keep rolling here. Link opened for you as a Plus user. Okay, great. Yeah.
Great.
So here you have in the agent builder, you have workflows, drafts, and templates. So we're going to look at a couple of templates here just to try and reverse engineer how they work based on working versions. And then we'll get into how you actually, make one of these.
Which one do we want to open, Grant?
I don't know. What sounds fun to you? We have data enrichment, planning helper, customer service, structured data QA, document comparison, and internal knowledge assistance.
Ooh. Let's do internal knowledge assistant. That's probably the easiest one of them all, if I had to guess, too, and might even have some...
So can everyone see my screen okay? Do I need to zoom in?
It's a little small. It would help if you could blow up a bit. There we go.
Is that okay?
That's helpful. Probably if someone's watching on mobile, it might look small, but hopefully that's good. That's about as big as we can blow it up.
All right. So here we have a test example, and we'll walk through these nodes. But first, let's just try it. Let's preview it. So it's already set up. Let's test it. This is internal knowledge assistant. I'm gonna say, hey, can you tell me what internal knowledge you have? All right, so it's now starting the query rewrite.
We're probably going to need to plug some in there too.
Yeah. I need to frame the user's question. Okay, what information sources constraints? Now it's classifying the procedure. So it's called fact finding, is how it classifies it. I don't have private internal knowledge about your organization. Here's what I do have and how it works. Training. I was trained on a mixture of licensed data created by human trainers. Knowledge cutoff, October 2024. Web access. I can browse the web. Tools. I can fetch current weather, stock prices, and sports data. Memory. By default, I don't remember past conversations. Privacy. I can't access your private files. This is interesting. So it basically is kind of just giving me what it did here is and let's walk through it. So
is what it started.
Yeah. So what we hit start, and then it rewrote our query so that it matched the use case of this specific tool. Then it classified the type of action we were requesting. So in this case, we were requesting fact finding. And then it has, it was, by the way, it was classifying between these three options, whether it's Q&A, whether it's fact finding, or else.
Nice.
And in this case, it qualified it as external fact finding. And that's why it sort of went off and kind of gave us a general overview.
For internal Q&A, we'd probably need to go into that node and upload a Word doc or something, or a PDF, I would assume. What happens when we open?
So this says, answer the user's question using the knowledge tools you have on hand, file or web search. In this case, it has web search.
Let's throw the Neuron style guide in there.
Okay. Okay.
What the heck? That way we can, it's kind of basically RAG or I assume some type of.
So what I'm doing here, so let's just give this a little bit of context. So on the left-hand side, we have all of our like tools. Obviously, there's tools, and then there's other things like logic nodes. All of our nodes, let's say. So we have the core nodes, we have the agent, we have the end, which ends the operation, and a note, which is, I think, these little sticky notes right here. Then there's tools that the agent can use itself. It can do file search, which is what I'm about to add, MCP, which is the connectors that Corey was talking about earlier, and guardrails. So this is like if you want to moderate what gets through, want to make sure there's no jailbreaks or hallucinations or whatever P2 is.
or maybe preventing duplicates even. There's a certain amount of deduplication you can do that'll save you from having to pay for a bunch of API calls for items that aren't relevant.
Right. MCPs is where you would connect external tools. So we'll get into that a little bit more later. And then logic. So this is like your basic logic block. So like if else, this is for routing purposes. If you're familiar with NAN or Zapier, it works the same way. This is a while loop. So this is like loop this workflow continuously while the condition is true. So it's like for each row in this 250 row database, run this automation. And then user approval, which is interesting, which is a human can approve or reject the step. So this would be
you can throw a human in the loop. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah.
This is arguably the most simple way I've seen conditional logic laid out and useful. It is really simple. I love that there's like, here are your tiers. It's this, then you connect here. If it's like where you were showing over there on your node. On the screen right now. I thought it was really cool the way that's laid out. It's very simple. It's very clear. You don't have to be an engineer to see what that looks like.
Yeah, you could definitely, there's definitely a lot of coding that you can do on here. It gets a little like iffy if you're not used to coding. But what you can do is you can, spin up another window, ask ChatGPT, or in my opinion, Claude might be better at this. And ask it for help, like, hey, this is what I'm trying to do. How do I, what kind of code do I need to write here? You can tell it, look up AgentKit from ChatGPT. You can even like go to AgentKit and just copy the whole page in and say,
or drop a link to its documentation.
copy the whole docs in, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, and say like, based on these docs, can you help me like set up what I'm trying to do here step by step, and it can walk you through it, which is pretty helpful. And then if you get stuck or it's confused or it gives you instructions and you're like, I don't see that option here, you just take a screenshot and you say, this is where I'm at. like this is what I see. Based on this, what do I do? And then that kind of prompts it to, essentially say, okay, I need to go back and based on this, give you better instructions.
Grant, I'm going to pull us out of the picture for just a minute so you can show the data tools at the bottom too.
Oh yeah, that's
that
great.
we were on top of.
I didn't realize those weren't visible, so that's good. So yeah, there's two data tools here. There is transform, which reshapes data, but set state is probably what you want to focus on. So set state will assign values to the workflow state variables. So what this means is, like, let's say you have determined whether the question should use the Q&A or fact-finding process. And then you have the input from the user, right? You need to convert this user input into basically like controllable data types that you can then send through your entire workflow that are consistent. So you don't want to send the whole, like, whatever the heck the user sends you. You want to send just the specific parts that you need. Yeah. So you would use set state in order to basically set those variables, and those variables will be the same throughout the entire workflow. So if I was to say, like, they do use a classifier. So let's look at that's what I'm looking at. So they use JSON here as the output format. And I know this looks kind of confusing with curly bracelets, but it's really easy. You can just ask it to write in JSON for you. You can ask it to generate.
Yeah, and it would be really valuable to understand JSON a little bit. You could probably get by without it. But what I'll say is, as things in the programming world go to learn, you can get an awful lot of understanding about JSON in a 10-minute video. The truth is, a 10-minute video will really help you explain that. Essentially, it's just a way of presenting structured data. Like, if you want, for example, if you want the results to spit out in a form, this is how you accommodate that. And it's sometimes how data will come in from another application as well. So
yeah, 100%.
Which we'll show you here in a few when we get there. But I'll grab you a link to a good JSON tutorial as well for anyone who wants to learn. It's, it's easy to figure out as far as stuff in programming goes. Like, you don't need to be a mathematician to understand what it's doing.
It's very clear. Like, it's like the type, it's an object, the properties, here are the properties inside of it. It's very nicely like structured, which is why people like to use it. But it's like, it can be very finicky if you're writing it yourself, which is why once AI's figured out how to write JSON. I remember when ChatGPT was like really terrible at JSON, and people were like struggling to try and get it to create JSON properly, and that was like the huge bottleneck for AI coding.
I would not manually write JSON.
Yeah,
now, that's the other thing, is if you don't know it, it's okay, because you can go tell ChatGPT exactly what you want, and it does JSON quite reliably.
Yeah. But if you see here, this is basically what's getting classified. It's saying, okay, is it these are the three options for the data type. It'll be Q&A, it'll be fact finding, or it'll be other. And that corresponds to this if statement here. So if the input output parsed is Q&A, then it'll send you to the Q&A option. If it's fact finding, it'll send you to the external fact finding. It looks like there's no else. Like, I don't know what this does here. Ask the user to provide more detail. Okay, so if the agent just doesn't know what is happening or needs more information, then it'll send it to this guy.
Yeah.
So yeah. Okay. So you said let's go ahead and add a tool. Where were we adding that tool? We were adding it.
Let's see. It would be in the top right, wouldn't it?
Yeah, this one.
The internal Q&A. Yeah, there should be I think there's a tool setting, and we should be able to connect.
So we're going to add file search, which is basically RAG. I think it's like the ability to search files. So we're going to,
or a little vector database sort of situation. I know those are really big with agents right now. And I don't fully understand vector databases. So I just know that I see them in things other people are building, and kind of understand that they basically store everything as numbers.
Right. So I'm going to download my Neuron style guide. I'm going to upload it here. Neuron style guide. Okay. And then we're going to attach that. So now we're going to go to preview, and we're going to go based on the Neuron style guide, what do we publish on Fridays specifically? And let's test it, see how well it works. All right, so it's classifying fact finding, it's identifying the user's goal, external fact finding. Interesting. I would say that it misclassified. So,
Okay.
So
well, maybe we need to check
this
out
would
the
be
classifier.
Yeah, this would be a Q&A, I think. So let's close this preview. Let's see here. Maybe I should say something like, if the user is asking a question about the neuron, we'll make it really simple. Classify it as Q&A.
Perfect.
So that is hard coding. You probably don't want to do that. You want it to be more flexible than that, but just for the sake of this preview, let's test it out. So what was the question? What does the Neuron publish on Fridays specifically? And I'm going to be even more specific based on the style guide in your file search. Now, obviously, if you were deploying an application to users, they're not going to be this specific with what they're asking for. So this would not work in a production environment, but I just want to see if we can get the tool call to work here.
I'm saving questions out of the chat right now.
Great.
For a little bit here. And when you're pulling things up, we can kind of tap them, or we can come back in a little bit and hit them.
Okay, it worked this time.
Excellent.
So Q&A. So we steered it in the right direction. So the Neuron publishes a weekly roundup on Fridays, This Week in AI, per the style guide. Curated news.
Which means the style guide needs to be updated.
No, that's accurate. I would say that's accurate. It didn't tell me based on the daily rotating sections, which one do we send on Fridays? And then which one do we send on Mondays?
There we go. There we go.
By the way, I watched a really awesome video talking about evals the other day, which I will share a link to in this, from Clairvaux. She's great YouTuber. And she has a tool called ChatPRD. So I will definitely share that. She interviews a guy, and I'm forgetting his name right now, but I'll also include him because he writes a ton about evals. And that's really helpful for stuff like this, where you're trying to steer the agent in the right direction. So,
I have an idea when you're done, because I've got a question.
And so this is totally wrong.
That is wrong.
That's totally wrong. Let me make sure that the style guide actually has the correct.
The style guide isn't wrong.
Yeah. To your point.
It's a thing that we have, but we don't reference every day because most of it we just know.
Oh, you know what? To be fair, it doesn't. We never say Friday Intelligent Insights in the newsletter, but it does say round up 5 interesting articles from around the web.
Yeah.
So
which is our Intelligent Insights section.
I think that's kind of true. Just didn't use the term that I was looking for, which is Intelligent Insights. And then Monday Deep Dive Explainer. Let's see. Monday meme. So Miss Monday meme. So that's what I was looking for with Monday. So let's say we wanted to like fix this problem, right? There is something we can do. Is this the one I was just working on? Let's see. Yeah. So there is this thing called evaluate. So evaluate up here shows you all of the traces, and traces are essentially like every time the workflow gets fired, this is what happened. So you can go in, you can look at it, and you can figure out, okay, what happened every time. And this is really good for troubleshooting. And you can create graders here, which describe the past.
So it's like your log in N8N. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. So this is where you can basically come in and you can troubleshoot and you can try and figure out. This is especially true like if you're actually doing this in production, right? You can go in and look at the traces and see, okay, what are the issues that are coming up here that I need to solve for. And what's interesting is, where does it show you the actual prompts? Oh yeah, the response. Yeah. Yeah. So you can go in and get really granular with the information here to try and see like what happened, what was said, what was not. Was it a success or not? And then you can create a grader, which basically can help you grade whether or not it was successful at the job. So did the user, I don't know how to grade this one. What would success look like? Let's just say, did the agent correctly steer the user to the style guide? Let's try that. Let's see if this works.
I have a thing I want to try here in a minute with you.
Yeah. This is probably not enough information for this to grade it accurately, but let's see.
Here's what I'm wondering, Grant, is can we suppose we're asking a question like, say, for example, we want to make sure that This Week in AI, since that's what it's calling it still, runs the same day that The Masked Singer airs, where it would require it to hit the style guide and external fact finding. Will it do that? Can we say, can we tell it in a classifier? It might need to be a request might be part each and need to go both directions or two directions.
What I would probably do in that instance, keeping in mind I'm amateur in terms of systems thinking, not at that level, I'm still learning, is I would probably have it be like a secondary node in this workflow. So for instance, if there's a section where it's like, Q&A, fact finding, else, you could make that else, you could add a both. So then that would be like, do the Q&A, internal Q&A first, figure out what doesn't need to go out to, or figure out what it's not in the internal documentation, and then based on what's not in the internal documentation, go out and search externally. So it'd be like, okay, this is what we know, this is what we don't know, go find out the answers to what we don't know.
I was wondering if the classifier couldn't do it specifically.
Yeah, but what the classifier, specifically what you'd want the classifier to do is say like, is this an issue where you need both or not? Like, is this a Q&A? Is this a fact finding? Or is this or is this?
Or is it?
So yeah, you're right that.
Yeah,
you're right that would happen in the classifier agent in this case.
And ideally, it would then just come out two pipelines from your if-then loop.
I mean, you know what? You can add tools, for example, to this. So this has two tools. It has web search and the file search in it. So technically, you could tell this agent, answer the user's question using the knowledge tools, and then go search for the stuff you don't know. Like you could kind of give it a step-by-step instruction. I don't know how successful it'll be. Like, it might be better to make those two separate steps so that it's cleaner. But you can technically tell the agent, like, okay, first you're going to look in the internal tools using the file search tool. Then you're going to go, then you're going to decide what answers you still don't have. Then based on those answers you still don't have, you're going to go out into the web search and essentially like try to find those answers. And then finally take the answers from both sections and give it back to the user.
Excellent. Okay.
We got a question. Where do you actually set the internal knowledge again? So in this case, it's this file search tool. And so inside file search, we gave it information.
And it's going into OpenAI's vector storage that you have access to. If you go out of the builder workflow, you'll see you have some storage access, I believe.
Yeah, let me check.
Down there.
Yeah, right here. So you can upload it directly here. Inside storage is where you could put it. In the case where we were working with it, we did it directly on the agent builder tool. But if you want, like, this is information that you're going to reference a lot, definitely add it all here. And then, that's in your vector storage and you can reference it all the time.
Yeah. For example, like, anything we're doing for the Neuron, if we were, working on a section and it's helping us write, we want everything we do referencing that document, for example. That document that we need to update probably.
Well, yeah, I already updated the Friday thing. I don't know why I didn't get the Monday meme. That's on OpenAI. Another thing to keep in mind, let's see, what's the one we work on? You can set the model. So for instance, maybe the fact that we're using GPT-5 and we're using reasoning effort low is why it just kind of botched that one. Let me see what happens if I do. All right, let's get real intense
like
here.
Overkill for reading a document.
Let's do GPT Pro.
By the way, also just a little tip here in model selection. I recommend for each step, any model you're using should be the most efficient one that gets your job done for a couple of reasons. Number one, as you crank it up and get volume through these things, every one of those is costing tokens. And you might not, like, for example, a classifier will not need GPT-5 Pro. The truth is it could probably get by with Nano, which is, the smallest, cheapest version. The reason being that way, the money you are spending on tokens, if you wanted, you could ramp that up on, say, I don't know, one of the other ends of your agent.
Or like marketing.
Or marketing.
You can just spend it on marketing. You're like, okay, yep, it's working well. No, I'm just kidding. You'd want it to go into like, okay, where is it actually doing the heavy lifting where it needs a lot of thinking? That's where you want to, really, crank this up. The one of the tutorials I was watching that helped me with this is from Corbin Brown. He's a really great YouTuber. He makes everything super, super easy to understand and follow. His suggestion was, most of the time, to Corey's point, you probably want to just use GPT-5 and just change this toggle here. So effort. This constrains the effort on reasoning, and you can do it from minimal to low to medium to high. That's usually a better toggle for most tasks. For example, this case, internal Q&A, it's going to need to, review the document. So let's put the reasoning to high. So let's try this.
What you need to know is the longer it thinks, the more tokens it's running. So, that's also your dollar breaks.
Oh, and then what happened here is I added the file search, but I didn't add a vector store.
That's fair.
Oh, is it just this one? Can I delete it?
You can create one.
Cool. By the way, if any of those errors come up and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm not a coder, I don't know what to do, just screenshot that, send it to the agent and say, what the heck do I do?
I always have another ChatGPT window open to the side, and I'm pretty consistently being like, you can also download your workflow, drop it into ChatGPT and say, what the heck have I done wrong here?
Yeah. Can you copy? Actually, I don't know this. Can you copy the entire schema of this?
You should be able
I believe you can.
You can in 8N, I know. You can download the JSON of it. And
you can download the code. You can download the code for the entire code for this because you're going to add it, through ChatKit. You're going to add it to your own application. So
exactly.
Yes, you can.
So you absolutely can.
Yeah.
We got a couple little questions in here while you're working on that I want to ask. The first one I'm going to answer real quick. Can you briefly explain why this would be superior to just building a custom GPT? Yes, that was from the Greek Prince, by the way. Absolutely. The key to a custom GPT was a great idea. And I would argue that with some minor updates could still be very useful in business applications and personal uses. Like Grant and I work with our parent company. We are consistently wanting a good way to send a simple solution to someone, and custom GPTs could do that. The problem is the tool itself is not as updated as some of the other things in there. And this is going to be much more diverse. You could do much more complicated tasks with this if you choose. I'm willing to bet that there's a lot more you can customize as well. You can only customize so much in a custom GPT. But in here, you're able to add more nodes, change them. You can go in and edit them. I'm willing to bet there's somewhere we can edit the code in here as well.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Yeah. So you go to code mode. and it'll give you the ChatKit quick start, then paste the workflow ID into your product, and that'll automatically copy the code. I think this is everything right here though, with the Agents SDK. Yeah. Yeah, so this is all the code right here. So you can just copy this all, and at any point in your workflow, you go to code, you go to AgentKit SDK, you take this, let's copy this, or you can
use their
this,
copy button.
it. Yeah, yeah. And then let me go to chat, and it'll be like, explain how this code works.
Yes.
What's wrong with it? I don't know what it's going to say for that because it's working at the moment. And
then it will shortly come back with an answer on why. While we're waiting for that, one more, Grant, from Abstract Enigma. I almost pronounced that terribly. Is the use case of this to build an agent, say for your website and users come use the agent, or is it more a tool for devs themselves to build faster, or both?
Yeah, it could do both. Yeah. But I think the idea with this is they want to make it really, really easy for you, the developer, creating with their creating agents to then deploy them in your own applications. So I think the idea, yes, of course, you can create it for your own internal use, but I mean, probably most of the time, you're gonna want to at some point productize it and make it something that you could, sell and offer to other people.
Possibly it could also be that in your daily work you have a process that's a little bulky. Like, say in our work, for example, there is a mountain of news in the AI space, and Grant has in built out a small agent that will gather that news, bring it in, and give us it all in one place where we can go through and make good decisions. And it's not a thing where we have to go in and look at the agent. It knows I do this at 12:30 p.m. or whatever case the time is set for.
Whatever
so, you could, in an ideal world, these won't be things you specifically look at. Even they will make the magic happen that keeps you from doing the parts of your job that you hate, or really fun stuff too.
It'd be nice that they don't let you do. So it'd be great if you could go code it and then copy it in here. If it edits it, with
you can't copy it back in.
Yeah, so N8N, right? You can just have it rewrite all the schema for you, and so long as it's written correctly, you just copy it in, and it automatically loads your node.
I think the most gaping thing missing from here that would really unlock this as a use case for everyone, and someone brought this up into it was True Crime Fraudit. Called out that what this really needs is an agent that can help you build the workflow.
Yeah.
And some tools have those now at an increasing rate. And the thing to remember, this has been out a week. It's in beta still. They're absolutely, as they do with everything, going to update this for forever. So I would imagine.
That's a good question. How many agents can you have going at once? My theory is, unless they rate limit your actual API key per account, or multiple API keys for accounts,
as long as the money's there, you could run as much as you want. Yeah,
as long as the money's there. Because basically what you would do is you have a bunch of different workflows that have different starts. Maybe they go to different applications. You have different keys for each one, so you generate a new key. It's this is my home renovation helper agent. This is my customer support agent. This is my, I just want to chat and I'm bored on the website agent. I don't know why you'd make that, but if you want to, you could. And then you have separate keys for all of those. You have different workflows for all of those, and they're just set up to
even using ChatGPT agent, within the ChatGPT portal. I use that thing religiously. And
you can
it is not uncommon for me to have 3 windows of ChatGPT agent running separate tasks all at once while I'm sipping my coffee and replying to emails.
People might still be sleeping on this thing.
I think people sleep on it. ChatGPT agent is good.
Let's mess with this. Let's say hey, go out and research OpenAI's new agent builder, and then write me an excellent tutorial for how to use it that is super easy to understand, and that everyone in this live stream that I'm in right now can leave here and take with them as a takeaway.
I hereby anoint you the champion of the run-on sentence.
Anoint you the champion. Oh no, that's you to me. Oh, oh yeah, I love run-on sentences. Actually, it's my guilty pleasure. Okay, so we're gonna just let that. We're gonna let.
Yeah,
that
we'll
go.
let that cook. It'll bring up a little browser window and do the whole thing. We've got a full demo on that we can share with you as well.
Yeah.
All right.
I just want to show people when it like starts
when
up.
It does that. Yeah. I'm never going to a DMV without an appointment again because of how I used this very tool a few weeks ago.
I don't know if enough people appreciated that prompt that we gave, but that was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had it search every DMV in the state of Missouri for one with an open appointment at 9 a.m. on Tuesday. And it went out and it found one and it popped up and said, how's this one? And I did the manual takeover thing real quick and signed the appointment. Then we went and it actually worked. So I was like, we're going to get here and it's not going to work. I've never done this. So,
okay, so this is just going to go in the background. And I'm going to go back to platform.openai.
Yeah. Let that one do its thing.
Yeah.
And you don't have to stare at that. You can just leave it alone in a tab and let it work.
And that you have like a limited amount per month that I think you can do. But
40 if you're on a plus plan and 200 if you're on pro. That is dated information. That was the time from work. Can you only have one workflow per API key? No,
I don't think so. That's just good like management. So you're keeping track of like how much money you're assigning to each workflow, and like for instance,
if your credit card got emptied, it's easier to go back and trace where it happened.
Yeah, exactly. Like you probably want to have multiple API keys for multiple projects so that you're keeping track of which ones are spending and by how much. Yeah. That's just, I think, good API management.
That's another good thing we ought to share sometime. That would even be worth talking about sometime. API key best practices.
Yeah, don't share them with other people because otherwise they'll be able to access your ChatGPT account.
I manage mine. If you want to get an API management tool, they're a fortune. So what I do is I use tools like I use 1Password, which is like it's a encrypted password vault that you can use and holds everything, but it's got a tool in it that is like double secure, built for holding API keys and storing them for quick use. I use that religiously. I've said that twice now.
This is interesting. The model will intelligently decide to call functions based on the embedders. So this is the ChatKit API. Let's actually look at that because I think that might be good for people too.
And the ChatKit is how you send your agent into your ChatGPT, correct?
That's my understanding as well. Okay. We've tested it to do that. Yeah. So it basically creates embeddable UI widgets, customizable prompts, tool invocation support, file attachments, and chain of thought visualizations to build agents without reinventing the chat UI. So basically that whole, say that again.
I said, let's say that more simply.
Yeah. So that whole thing that we were showing in the little preview window, that's all ChatKit. Like that's basically, so you don't have to go out and create all of that in your program. You just automatically, you just use ChatKit and that will like generate in your application for people. So it shows the traces, or not the traces, but it shows the agent thinking. It shows them, using the tools. And so that's all built in so that the user of your application can see the AI going through its motions. Yeah. So this is how they recommend that you integrate it, that you embed it into your front end, customize its look and feel, and then let OpenAI host it from the agent builder. But then you can actually run it on your own infrastructure using their Python SDK, which is a software developer kit, and connect to any agentic backend.
Which is not as easy to teach in a simple manner, probably.
No, it's much easier to do it this way and then basically use the embed in your application.
I can't recommend enough the value of going through some of these. If you're not a programmer, you might not even know they exist, but all of these tools from every one of these companies, they have their documentation sites, and there's so much great stuff, good tips. Like there's a Sora 2 prompting guide hiding in one. There's a prompting guide for nearly every tool they have, I want to say. And Claude has them, Gemini has them, just about every software tool has documentation in some way, and getting into that is a really cool way to better understand some things. Might not even hurt to build one of these trained on ChatGPT's documentation.
Yeah, or add it to your storage. Yeah, it's probably a good idea. I mean, honestly, you could make an agent builder helper. I don't know if anyone's made that yet, but that would be great.
Might be a fun
You basically give it all the documentations, and then people can chat with it and have it help you create the workflows.
If none of you do that, one of us might soon. We've got a lot of travel coming up in the near future, so it's a little crazy right now, but that's absolutely a great idea.
All right, so let's just go over the MCP stuff. And
want to explain what MCP is real quick?
Yeah, so MCP, the easiest way to explain it, it's an easy way to let applications talk to each other and use tools. So like, for instance, if I was going to add the Gmail one, I'm not sure if I can on here.
I would probably dodge Gmail just because we're on our work computers, and access to some of those kind of things is a little iffy. Shopify,
the one I was, yeah, I could try one of these. Which one do I think is going to let me?
Plaid and Stripe are both banking.
Yeah.
Zapier connection is really interesting. So you could connect this to a Zapier automation that you already have running.
Yeah. So basically you can just enter your Zapier API key here, and then it'll connect to your Zapier.
That's really cool.
And then you can call it there. The one I was messing with earlier
was more user friendly, like with a login thing. And usually you got to drop in your API key is most thing it'll be looking for, or a token maybe. But the idea is that this is so much simpler, so much faster, and than an API would be for someone who's not used to working in that kind of stuff.
By the way, any MCP server, you can just put the URL in here. You can label it. You can add a description, and then you add your API key, and you can connect it. So let me actually. I saw a good.
What is that one, Grant?
Which one?
What is that logo?
This?
Yeah.
That's the MCP logo. It's like a little like connector pipeline thing.
Sorry.
Yeah. So whenever you see
that, which connector is that? I've never seen that one.
Yeah. There's a. I'm gonna just go ahead and send these in the chat here once I pull it up. I'm gonna find it again. This is from a video from Fireship called "How to Make Vibe Coding Not Suck." And these are the MCPs that they recommend that you use. So let's go ahead and put this in the chat.
Yeah, and there are libraries of user-built servers for MCP that connect software that might not be officially attached. And you can set up your own, which is essentially what he's doing here.
Yeah, this is like kind of bridging the text message.
I need to check that one out.
Okay, that I just did, that's not going to work.
Nope, it didn't.
Broken. Okay. I'm trying to copy all of these over, but you can't do it easily. So, but basically what you would do is you would take one of these URLs, like let's just say they're all broken actually. So I copied them poorly. Sorry.
While Grant's figuring this out real quick, we did have another question I haven't answered yet. And this was from Jonathan Erickson regarding the JSON tutorial link. Any other quick upskill recs for non-technicals to use Agent Builder would be great. This is one of those specifically. A simple understanding of MCPs. It's in itself not that difficult. I don't believe you'll really need any programming knowledge. Is that accurate, Grant, or am I wrong there?
What video are you talking about?
I'm not. I'm talking about MCPs. I said we had a question here about other quick upskill recommendations for non-technicals trying to use Agent Builder or even other agent building tools. And I was suggesting that, getting a good grasp on MCP and how it just, how to set it up and what it can and can't do could be really valuable.
Yeah, let me share an actual video that I recommend on that. I'll look it up. what was the one that I watched that was really helpful? There's a ton. People made a ton of videos on them. Honestly,
Yeah.
there's a lot of options on there.
Yeah, there's absolutely some good ones, and we can, after we're done, we can go into the description of this video as well and drop some helpful links in there that would be useful trying to learn. And that's a good question, honestly, that we ought to do a little research on. Like, what are some good quick up skills for non-technicals to be more? I like to say I'm technical fluent. I'm not a programmer, but I do have at least enough of an understanding of some topics, like understanding a little bit about what a vector database is, what an agent is, how you connect it, APIs, understanding what an API is. The fact is, APIs are the plumbing that runs the world you probably don't know about if you're really new to doing any of this. So many APIs. There's a company called Kong who I've actually talked to recently. And I think they said they serve as kind of a switchboard for API connections between different things. And I remember him telling me they do, like, I don't remember, it was some obnoxious number, like 100 billion a day out of India, different connections, stuff like that. So that'd be a really valuable skill that is not super hard to understand. And has a lot of applications. Like, there are, you can set an API, attach an API to your custom GPT even, and have your app call your custom GPT. I probably wouldn't do it that way, but you could. What you working on there, Grant?
Something that's not important for this moment. Yeah. So, does anyone else have any questions here? I'm sure you have a lot. I would just like to maybe like it'd be helpful for us to go through all the different options on these nodes. Like
I think
maybe
we should go through each node. I think that would
maybe
be
that's
valuable,
good.
because understanding how to set up the different nodes is really important. It's important to know that the start node there, that's essentially your trigger. If you're dealing in N8N, it's called a trigger there, and that is what starts your process.
And then, as you can see here, it's like you define the workflow inputs. In this case, the input is as text. So this is a string, which in programming, that basically is just referring to like a string of text, like a group of text. So it doesn't refer to a variable or a function. So you get the user input as text. You can also define other state variables here, which this is probably good to know in general in terms of upskilling. There's different types of variables that you could deal with in programming. There's obviously a string, which is text. There's a number, which is, as you can guess, a number, a Boolean, which this one always threw me off. I was like, why is this such a weird word? Like, who came up with this? It's basically just a true or false statement.
Yeah.
I don't know why they had to call it a Boolean, but that's like how
if you're a Google Search Pro and you're used to using all of the different marks and how to search an individual site in there, that's all basic Boolean. Like when you're taking two statements, putting them in quotes to make sure it searches those words together, those are a variety of Boolean processes that will work right in Google search and help you refine, get better answers.
Then there's also objects. So if you're familiar with object-oriented programming, and lists. So this would be like a list of values or an array. And those are state variables that you could set just right off the top. If you're, let's say, like, for instance, you're making a workflow that is getting information from another tool, and that's how you're starting it. Or you're starting it and you're saying like, okay, the user's going to be passing certain variables to you, which means like in the prompt, they might say like, hey, I'm dealing, maybe this is a customer service agent. It's like, oh, I'm dealing with the case number, 354467 or whatever. And that is a certain variable that refers to something in your database. So like you want to extract that separately and set that right at the beginning. There could be any number of those things here that you can set.
And this isn't a true trigger in the way like an N8N trigger is a trigger. Like with that type, you can set an email trigger where like a new email comes to your Google inbox and that triggers your agent on its own without you having to hit a button. Where or you could set a timer agent, a time agent, which you could set it to run every 45 minutes around the clock, except on Thursdays or something. You can customize how those work. Where this is very much meant to be super straightforward, and I assume there are a lot of new tools that will come with this as time goes on, probably really quickly.
So here's a simple one. So you go from the start to the agent, and then inside the agent node, this is where you call the model with your instructions and tools. So this is where you would give it the instruction, you would give it the
your prompt,
the role, everything, any context. You can add context here, which would be, you could add those state variables from before. So if you're sending stuff along with the input as text, you could send those separately here, so that it knows. You include the chat history, so whether or not that's relevant or not. That's the user's input and any output from previous agent nodes. So that's helpful to if you want to include chat history in your workflow, which you probably most of the time do, so that you can keep track of what's happening. That's how you would do that.
And each time you run it should be technically a new chat, I would think.
Yeah. And then we have all of the different models that are available to you, as we established before.
Wow,
you probably just
how far back did that go?
It goes, I think it goes all the way to
Turbo.
To Turbo, which might be free at this point, although it's very dumb. I don't know if you'd want to use that.
I wouldn't have even guessed it to still be served up.
Yeah, the API, you can get all kinds of stuff on here for everybody who loves
4.0 as well.
Yeah, you can get it on the API. You can make a RizBot or like a tell me what I want to hear bot, and just runs GPT 4.0 chats to people. Like, you could call it old school ChatGPT, and then you can serve that to people with GPT 4.0. There's a lot of stuff, and then you select the reasoning effort, obviously, which I think is important to manage on a step-by-step basis. Then you can add the tools, which, in addition to what's listed here, which is guardrails, the MCP, which is external connectors to other programs, and file search, there's also code interpreter. So if you're dealing with code stuff, and I think that's, and then you can write your own functions, custom.
Code interpreter will also help with any data analysis.
Yes.
Like, that's essentially what in the front end of ChatGPT, as long as you have, it's had a few names: code interpreter, advanced data analysis, or analyst. It's had a few names over the years. Code interpreter, I think, is the oldest, but I believe that is the tool you would use, if you're crunching a spreadsheet or something, or getting it to spin up a way to open a PowerPoint, for example, or something.
Yeah. And this is cool. So the output format, we talked about text, we talked briefly about JSON. You can also output as a widget, which is, there's a whole other widget builder side of this, which, I'll be honest, I have very briefly messed with.
I have not done even that yet, but I really want to.
You can create a widget file to link a widget to your workflow, or create a new one in Widget Studio. Let's check this out. Let's go to create a widget. Create a widget. Okay, so you can describe your widget, or you can attach a mockup. Make me a widget to demo the cool widget features. Some of the tutorial videos that I posted in the chat, and I'll send along with this, cover the widgets more in depth. So you can dive into that. I think the hour-long one, I'll share the name of the guy, Brendan Jowett. He talks about widgets, which is good. Okay, you can also look here. So while this is happening, there's a gallery, there's individual components and icons, so you can work on building this stuff in here.
I like that.
I don't know if I assume it won't break what we're doing, but I don't want to click off just in case.
Well, we can find out.
All right. Okay, so this is the gallery.
Oh, wait, it's not showing.
Can you not see it?
No.
Oh,
I'm showing.
It opened in another tab. Okay, that's good to know. Yeah.
You able to swap?
Oh, wait. Oh, this whole thing has been opened in another tab. Hold the phone. Sorry about that. So this is the widget builder. So this is where you create a widget. But can you see my screen? Okay, yeah.
Yep.
So this is where you create the widget. And this is where I said, like, please create. This is as far as it got. So that was not a good example. Let's just say like, let's create a cool widget to demo what widgets can do.
Or hey, maybe we do one that that gives you today's weather with a joke or something silly.
I can do that. Yeah, let's do that. Create a widget that gives me today's weather with a joke.
Based on my okay, yeah. We'll I was gonna say we might ought to add based on a location given.
Let's just start with this.
Default vibes. It's set vibes.
Okay, so you can see I'm generating 2 widgets down here on the left-hand side.
That's pretty cool. Preheating the render oven. I like it. That's nice and nerdy.
Making stuff up. But then you can go to the gallery here, and this gallery shows you like all the different types of widgets that you can create.
Are these examples or ones other people have built?
That's a good question. I want to say these are examples.
Yeah, because it says sold by OpenAI.
Yeah, these are all examples. Well, like here's like a weather one, right?
Oh, there we go.
So this would be like if you're gonna, create an app inside your chat tool that gets called. This is what you would do. And then you can click on these and it gives you the code for it. So you can use that as a starting point, or you can just straight up open this in the widget editor and you can start tweaking it. Let's look at this widget demo. Hey, hello widgets. Okay, try it. It's not there. Surprise me. I don't know if this actually does anything. But it would be nice if this had a chat window where I can chat with it, and like if you're building an app in AI Studio and say, hey, this isn't working. What's up with that?
Widget. I wonder if we could make it a sarcastic joke. Well, we're not there yet, but
yeah, it's really not working. It's not working.
I wonder what you could do with these widgets.
Let me say, hey, make this widget work. Let's see what happens.
There we go.
All right, here's a weather joke one. Let's check that out. Enter a city to get today's weather and a quick joke. Let's do Glendale. CA. So perhaps this doesn't work because there's no logic attached to it yet. So we would maybe need to call this and
connect it to the agent.
Yes, we'd have to connect to the agent. So now that we have weather joke, let's see if we can create this. And oops, that's the wrong thing. Platform agent builder.
Weather and a joke. I love that it called it that.
Okay, let's do this, and let's say output format is a widget, and then let's add the widget, and then let's upload. Oh, I guess I need to download.
We got to download it.
Be nice if there was a text editor there.
We got a question. Do widgets only live in the ChatGPT API, or are they meant to be put on an external site? Like you could attach a weather widget to your website, and the benefits would just be integration with ChatGPT. I believe
that's a great question. I think that they're supposed to show up in ChatKit, but we can look at the ChatKit. We can find this information out. In fact, let's ask ChatGPT. Are ChatGPT widgets able to be posted on your own website, or are they only for ChatGPT ChatKit use at the moment? Use web search to look this up based on OpenAI's docs. All right, we'll get the answer to that. By the way, we can go here and we can see the tutorial that it was supposed to create for us.
There we go.
So this was what we did with ChatGPT Agent while we were messing around on this. So we will share this with this final video. So you can get a nice...
We can drop it in a doc, nice and clean.
Yeah, nice and clean tutorial so that you can follow along at home. All right.
We usually wind up with one of these on our website as well after. So
this says you can embed the ChatKit chat widget on your website today. It's not limited to ChatGPT's in-product ChatKit. Nice. OpenAI docs show mounting the widget from your site, exchanging a client secret with your server, and connecting it to an agent workflow backend. If you're implementing it, render it in chat. Okay, I'm gonna say, give me the exact source document where you found this information so I can check your work. And I'm also going to make it think a little harder about it. All right, so while that's happening, we go back to the platform.
By the way, I love the ability to adjust the amount of thinking.
Yeah, that's an amazing feature.
It is. That's a thing that if you follow AI on Twitter, X much, which is where all the researchers and stuff kind of live. That is like one of the most common things people asked for immediately after O1 dropped was, I need a dial.
It makes sense. It makes sense. Actually, what I need to do is I need to go to the widget builder. So that's to get to the widget builder, you go to widgets.chatkit.studio. And I'm going to go back to my weather joke. And I'm going to hit download here. Why? Please fix the errors.
Oh, you need to refresh your browser.
What?
That's what it said.
No.
Fix errors.
Please fix all the errors.
It hasn't called any out, has it?
No. I mean, weather.location.
Well, we could try the refresh and see what happens.
I already refreshed it once.
Oh, okay.
Let me try it again.
Okay. That didn't
Interesting.
work.
So I can't download it. I wonder if I can copy the share feature and use that. Let's try it.
That's a good question. Let's find out. Don't forget to swap screens. There you go.
Yeah. All right. Oh, not busted workflow. That was the one I was testing on day one to try and get it to work. Okay, so let's see. Output format, widget. Let's see. Upload a widget link, a widget file. Yeah, it's kind of dumb that you can't just copy the code, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because now all of a sudden it's like, okay, cool. I have the thing I want, but I can't download it. Let me try to prompt this one more time. Let me try and download this one, actually. Let's see. Okay, I got this one, so let's try that.
There we go. Cool.
Get out of here. Okay.
Now we're going to upload.
Now I'm going to upload it. Widget demo. Open that. So now we can see the code. It's funny, you can see the code there, and you can edit the code there. So in theory, if I wanted to, I could then just take it and this is so busted. This is funny. Okay. So what I can do now is I can go to my weather joke one. I can now copy the text from that. I can go to the widget demo editor. Let's see. Oh wait, is that? Oh, it might not work the way I'm thinking. Hold on. Let's see. One sec. Okay, so we got the widget demo. Let me hit edit. Let me try and download this now. Oh, nope, didn't work.
Got to switch over to code, right?
Yeah, well, anyway, okay, we got this one, it works. Let's test it. So let me write this. You are a helpful assistant. You are going to show the demo widget when the user asks for it. So this is like extremely basic.
It's about as basic as an agent could be, isn't it?
Show me the widget demo. Let's see if this works. Okay.
Okay.
All right, it works.
Try it.
But of course the code doesn't work. So what's interesting is where are we gonna? We'll have to do some offline testing of the widget builder because I really haven't played with it before now.
Yeah, we absolutely came into that without having ever messed with it. So.
Yeah, it's quite interesting. But yeah, I wonder how you actually like fix it. Oh wait, test. Or this one, weather joke.
Are you over in the widget builder again?
Oh yeah, sorry. It keeps opening other windows. Let me open that. Okay, so now you can. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to ChatGPT and I'm going to be like, hey, I don't I don't know how to set up the code in my widget builder so that it works and how to troubleshoot it when working with Agent Builder. Can you give me a step-by-step easy to follow guide to set this up? And then I'll say something to the effect of use web search and look up the ChatKit documents to inform this guide. What did Abstract Enigma say?
Said he's been sleeping on Corey and Grant. We're doing great.
That's funny. Let's web search, just make sure he does that the right way.
Use web search, look up ChatKit documents to inform this guide. Does anyone have any questions at this point? Glad to pause anytime and make sure we're getting everything answered. I don't think I've missed. Oh, hang on. Oh no, we did get into that one.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
So let's go back to our agent builder and let's just talk through some of these nodes. So you can definitely call a widget. As you can see, it's kind of complicated. It might not be the best thing you can do. You can also hit more here, and you have a lot more things that
verbosity.
you can tool around with. Yeah, verbosity. So this is like how much you want the agent to talk when it responds, right? So probably in most cases you want that to be low.
Yeah, I'd say it depends on your project.
This displays a summary of the model's internal reasoning process. So this gives insight into like why it's doing what it's doing and how it's thinking about it. You probably always want this on. It's very helpful for, following it in the traces when you're evaluating what happened. And also like it's good UI for the user so that they can see the agent's doing something. It's not just like a loading circle and like what's happening. Yeah. You can display the responses in chat, show search sources. Annotations will be shown to the user in the output. That's good practice. You want to cite your sources, support journalism. Continue on error. Enables catching errors whenever an LLM call fails. When disabled, the workflow will stop whenever it fails. This is good for troubleshooting.
Can I read that one more time?
Yes, go ahead.
Catching an error whenever an LLM call fails. When disabled, the workflow will stop. Oh, so it means it doesn't kill your whole workflow because of an error. It'll still spit it out.
Yeah.
It may send the error to your destination.
Yeah. In this case, when we're actually troubleshooting and trying to build it, you want it to stop because then you can see where in the workflow it actually got a hiccup. And now this is write to conversation history, which is basically what it means is you're going to write all of this history, so that you can check what happened in the traces. All right. Cool. So let's say you want to do like an if-else statement. Let's put that in here.
Being comfortable reverse engineering those traces is a thing that's good to get familiar with as well.
Yeah,
like I've noticed in building an innate in specifically is that nothing I've done ever works the first time. Like there's usually a certain amount of troubleshooting. And any AI of your choice pretty good at reading those codes and not the codes, but the codes and the statements, and just make sure you've given it all the context you can. And that context might include, here is my whole workflow, here's my build, here's the error code. Sift through all this crap and see if you can figure out where the problem is kind of my approach to it.
So I'm going to share this video in the chat because this is a great video on evals.
Excellent.
So this is Clairvaux and what's his name? Hamel Hussein. And he creates awesome content about evals. And this video is awesome. Like if you want to learn how to basically troubleshoot, track traces, how to structure evals, watch this video that I just shared in the chat. Watch that video for evals. They have a great step-by-step breakdown of like how to think about it, how to categorize them. Lots of amazing insights in that video. I was watching it yesterday and I learned a ton. So I would definitely recommend it to everyone.
By the way, I also just got notified that we got our approval on we'll also be in November at the Microsoft Ignite conference in San Francisco as well, with some great content from that. It just came in while we're on the call, so I thought I would go ahead and say that.
Amazing. That's cool.
Yeah, we're excited about that. If you haven't, you should really go back and watch our interview with Mustafa Suleiman on. He had written an essay on seemingly conscious AI, and we had a really interesting conversation about consciousness and the nature of AI. And yeah, it's a good watch. Really interesting, and probably that's a subject we'll discuss a billion times over the coming years. Maybe not a billion, but maybe 30.
So yeah, just real quick on the if else block. So this is where you create the conditions to branch your workflow. So this is where you would say like, let's look at a built one because I think it's easier to think about it from that way.
Yeah.
Condition. Okay, so if input output parse has all details equals true, that's a bad example. Let's do a different one.
Yeah,
let's do the one we were looking at before. So in this case, if the classifier has classified the input, where is it actually?
So that's rewriting your query as JSON.
I forget what it's called, but basically it's the enum. So if the enum is classified as Q&A, then you will do input, output, parse, operating procedure, Q&A, and then else if fact finding. So this is kind of intimidating, right? It's like, oh gosh, do I have to write code here? What I would do is I would just explain to ChatGPT, like, hey, here's what I'm doing. I'm building a workflow. At first it goes from start, then it goes to the query that writes it and puts it into the structured data format I want. Then it classifies, is it a Q&A or a fact-finding process? Then I need to write an if-else block here. Can you write me the simple code for this?
And it'll spit it right out.
Yeah. And then basically based on that, you will add the agents here for each of the processes. So if you got the Q&A, then you do this workflow. If you've got fact-finding, then you do this workflow. Else you do this. And then you can add
anything
tools.
other than one of those two.
Yeah, and then you can add tools to each individual agent, so it knows, like, if let's say, for example, you want to do an MCP server to Figma, right? And you say like, hey, I want to make it so that if I get a request from the designer, that it will automatically go to Figma and create the code for this design file for me. I'm not sure if it can 100% do that easily, but it can do elements of that, right? Where you basically send directly to Figma the exact square that you're working on with the design in it, and then you can use the Figma MCP to create code for that or grab the code for that. You can do all of that in this agent builder if you want. You can also just do it directly with chat and the MCP connector for Figma, so that's probably easier. But for example, you could call the MCP server here, and you could say okay, if the designer sends a specific file, then grab the code for it and send it to me, to put into my application, something like that. That's a somewhat complicated, but also easy to understand idea of how you would use an MCP. You're calling an external tool, so the agent's then going to Figma, using the tools that are available to it on Figma, and basically chatting back and forth and actually getting the content from Figma over that API.
Yeah.
Figma's a design tool, if you didn't know.
Yeah. And I think, another thing that's important to know with these is planning them is important.
Definitely.
You don't want to just dive in and be like, oh, I need one of these, I need one of those. It's really good to sit down and think, okay, what is my process? I want to do this. And then you need to take a step back and think programmatically. Think of it as, okay, so first I would, let's say my use case is I want to pick up this bottle of water. You would be like, okay, so step one is I'm thirsty and I remember I have a bottle of water. So then I'm going to reach out and I'm going to grab the bottle of water. So each one of those would be a step. That's a terrible example, but the idea is, that I'm going to pick it up.
No, I mean, that's a classic example for an algorithm, right? Is you ask kids or anyone in the class, okay, write me a step-by-step instruction for how to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Yes.
And in classical programming, right, you have to be very, very specific with each step along the way to make up the algorithm so that you explain pick bread up flip it over, like grab knife, put knife in the,
and the answer would be
jar.
what bread?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. There's a great video of this where he's teaching kids algorithms, and he just literally does exactly what they tell them, what the kids tell him to do, and then it just makes like a mess because the kids were not explicit enough.
Take the knife. He grabs the knife and leaves or something. Yeah.
So what's cool about working with AI is that it abstracts away some of the specific instructions. Like you can just say with natural language, and then the AI on its side will then determine a lot of what it needs to do.
Exactly.
Like in the example of the agent, that ChatGPT agent, like the agent is actually going out and making all these decisions separately. Here, you're trying to give the agent, you're basically playing OpenAI's role in this case, where you're trying to build an agent that can think and answer questions and pull the right tools as needed, and pass the right information through this workflow for you, so that you get to the other end of it, and it abstracts away some of it, like some of the reasoning, like what tool do I need to call to answer this question? Do I need to call web search, or do I need to use my internal storage? Like what makes the most sense? You don't have to say, like, you don't have to make an if then block, like if it's, and then create all of these edge cases of what would and wouldn't be, qualifying for internal knowledge versus external knowledge, and create like thousands of these if blocks,
And there's a tendency to over-engineer these by people, in my opinion.
Sure.
Like I have seen some workflows that are just more than they need to be. It's, and I think some of that is specifically more with classical programmers, engineers, traditional people who have always had that approach where the AI will give you a little bit, it can assume. Like, okay,
this is a good example that's a lot simpler, right? Like, so this is, you have a web research information that finds company information using the web. Then you summarize research for user using a ChatKit. And then alternatively, you could convert the results to structure.
Dump it in a spreadsheet. Yeah.
Let's see how it starts. So the input takes the input as text. Okay, simple. Then it says, you are a helpful assistant. Use web search to find information about the following company I can use in marketing assets based on the underlying topic. And then the output format.
It's using 5 minutes too.
Wow. Companies. And then this is where like certain people will get a little intimidated. Luckily, it has this generate here, and you can describe how you want the model to respond. But before we do that, let's just like break this down, right? So, okay, here, this is an object, I believe. Yeah, oh no, this is an array. So that's a list of companies. And so it's a list of companies, list of company objects. And then these are the items inside that list. So,
and they're organized as an object, presumably because that object is that company's information.
Yeah. So in this case, it's a bunch of strings, and it's the company name, it's the industry, it's the headquarters location, company size, et cetera, et cetera. And then there's a number, which is when it was founded. And all of that is then is put in this structured format, so that, and you can see the code there of the JSON that structured all that for you.
Yep.
And then that goes to this summarize and display agent, which puts the research together in a nice display using the output format described. And this is a widget. So this is the output format. This is what it looks like. You got the company name, the industry, the headquarters, company size, the description.
I bet you can make it, stick it in that vector database too.
Yeah, you could. Well, let's run this and let's test it out. But the one thing I wanted to share is that, like, actually, let's run it, let's test it, and then we'll edit it generatively.
Yeah,
because I think that'll be good. So
there we go.
Look up technology advice. So the web research is taking our string, look up technology advice. It's grabbing all the information about the company,
where it's located, how old it is,
and then it puts it in this nice,
that's perfect,
widget for us. So that's really pretty.
That is.
I don't know what happens when you get video details. I don't think anything happens. So then you can close the preview. So let's say we wanted to add something to that. Let's say we're going to go to more. Oh no, the output format. And let's say I don't have any of this, or let's say I want to change something to it. So describe how you want the model to respond. Can you have it What's something that we might find on the company's website?
Pull any open roles, any open job opportunities.
And I'll say and add that to the array.
Perfect.
As a string. I'm going to be explicit, see if it works. Now it looks like it's generating the whole thing over, so that's not good. So what happens if I hit cancel? Then that keeps it the same as before. Let's see.
Theoretically, yes.
Yeah, so it's the same as before.
Add
so
property. That's what you need.
Easier in this case would be open roles.
Yep.
And then we'll say any open roles on the company website.
With yeah.
Let's just try that and see if it works.
Yeah, see what happens.
Technology advice. That's the company that owns the Neuron, by the way.
Yeah.
This is Accenture. This is a completely different company. That's funny. So in this case, we want to be like, okay, it made the decision to just look up a bunch of different technology advice companies.
Gartner. You did it in small. You did it in lowercase, and technically, technology advice is one word.
So you know what you could do? You could write specific instructions based on this problem and say, like, if it's not clear if the user's talking about a company or asking for general advice, like ask them a follow-up.
Yeah.
Or you could
the
then say,
input
like,
is always a proper noun. Yeah.
Yeah, you could change the state that says, like, look up the company entered as a proper noun. Exactly. Like, so then now it's giving me all the different. Oh, it's just giving me the card for the first one. So this isn't set up to give you multiple companies, even though it went out and found multiple companies. The widget just gives you the first one. So that's a good thing to know too.
Yeah.
So let's say I wanted to create this from scratch. How would I do this? So I would say, like, okay, we're going to create an array of data about the company searched, and we want to collect the company name, industry, headquarters. I'll spare you all going the whole thing. Companies, I'll do company size and any open roles. Please create that. Let's try that and see if it can structure it the right way.
Like, just the fact that it might recognize roles as meaning jobs, career opportunities, etc., is pretty cool.
So now it's set up the same array as before: companies, list of companies, company name, industry, headquarters, company size, open roles. It's added a new array for that. That was smart. Title, and then location.
Hey, what if we changed location to URL?
Or we can just add URL.
Oh, that's fair.
What's that be? Link to
Is it still a string? It probably won't be a string either. It may be might be. Is it an object? Let's find out.
Let's try it. Well, actually, okay, yeah, let's try it. It's good. It's a good question. Okay.
I would think a URL is an object. Someone watching this, if you know, please let us know.
I think you could do both. I don't know what the best practice is, if that makes sense. Depends on if you're gonna like link out to it. You probably want it as an object of some kind.
Okay. Technology advice, B2B marketplace, lead gen. Yeah.
This is not an ad for our company. It's just
a
company we thought of.
It's just the first one that came to mind.
Okay, so it's got the right information here. Website, that didn't work.
Probably because it was a string.
Well, I think we might have to change the logic of the widget.
Yeah, I think you may be right.
Yeah,
you're right. Hey, we're learning here too. As we said earlier, this thing's only a week old, and we've kind of been tinkering and figuring it out along the way as we can. But we thought this would be a really good opportunity to just kind of come on and kind of also show you us learning our way through it as well, and seeing that we're figuring this stuff out just like anybody else is. I hope
so. I think. Oh, go ahead. No,
I was going to say, I hope you're enjoying today's video, by the way. And if you don't mind, I have to do the little housekeeping thing here. please like, subscribe if you don't mind. It really does a lot for helping ensure we can keep doing this and getting these big guests from places like, NVIDIA and Microsoft and OpenAI, et cetera. And hopefully, having some new ones and some really interesting smaller players in between. Like we've got some cool stuff coming around the corner. Also, don't forget to check out Tech Equity AI Summit. We're going to be there. If you happen to be in San Francisco, come see us. We'd love to, meet some folks.
Okay, so I think that's about it on this.
I think
as you
so,
can
too.
see, there's a lot of ways you can generate it. You can think it through. You could have ChatGPT help you. You could have ChatGPT write it all in JSON for you, and think it through. There's a lot of ways that you can surmount this technical, scary, structured data mapping problem here. Now,
frankly, that's the coolest way I've seen it laid out. That simple mode there is really user friendly compared to what, say, the advanced mode looks like, which is what we'd be used to seeing. So
I agree. Yeah.
I think, the other thing is this is a brand new tool in early beta. The thing about AI is they very much MVP and build all of these things in public. So like you've always got to look at a new product launch. Something new comes out and people are always like, oh, it sucks. It's terrible. And the truth is you got to remember that this is a highly competitive space where they're shoving things out of the door from all of these companies. Like they're doing their best and stuff just keeps coming. So it's important to remember that they're absolutely putting these out, knowing there's still work to be done. But sometimes that work can't be done until they know what happens when you give this to 700 million people. What happens when you connect this to a local pizza restaurant? What happens when you try to build a piece of software on it? And that kind of information is stuff that they can't learn without putting it out. There's a lot of feedback that has to happen from users. So I would also encourage you, as you play with this, if you are not an experienced developer, absolutely send them feedback. Like the truth is, this is the kind of feedback they love. Like they want to know things like, boy, it would sure be great if you had a little agent here that could help me build this thing. That's
or gee, it would be nice if you could like edit the text of the like the widgets directly in the tool where you're posting it. Yeah,
we should send those notes in actually too.
We will.
That's a really good thing to do. Like, there's this common thing to be like, oh, that stinks. And then just never, ever do anything about it. It's like, they've got to know. I mean, we can't just assume everyone knows. And that's true of all of these companies.
I've heard the two criticisms I've heard of this, and I haven't looked very, very deeply to see, what people who are actually using it are saying about it. But like just the initial impressions that people had was like, number one, they don't think that the Node user experience, the UI, is like the UI of the future. They're like, it can't be a Node-based builder. Like, there's no way that that's like
I love nodes.
You do?
I love node builders. And I use Comfy UI all the time. We got a cool demo coming on that in the very near future as well, by the way. But I really like that kind of connection, partially because it's visible. It's not just, oh, here's a terminal.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to do this just in a terminal. Some people do, but the fact is, when it comes to building agents, this isn't a skill that developers need to have. This is a skill you need to have. Every one of us is going to need the ability to spin up a quick agent in the future, and then not the long-term future. Like, right now I have several that I use every day that are running various processes just to save me the work of little crap I don't like to do. Like a lot of it is moving stuff from here over to my board to make sure it's tracked because I don't trust me not to forget anyways. They're tasks that I stink at. And that's where I highly recommend starting is start at the things you hate doing. And, some things are manual for a reason. That's another thing. Sometimes you will find a task that is just not worth the effort, but I would almost guarantee you have some that are. What's that annoying thing you have to do for 20 minutes every morning that you could absolutely set one of these up for? And it's not that difficult. I would think for an engineer, this might be almost annoyingly simple. What's the code view look like?
So when you go to the agent SDK, it's all written in that.
They could absolutely just do the whole thing right here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Never mind. I apologize.
I mean, you could do it with, Codex, for example.
Yeah.
Like, I think this is like supposed to make it accessible for people who are not engineers, and maybe like make it easier for engineers because who just want to do it this way. Let's go to
what's missing for me in the short term is the ability, I want different types of triggers. I think triggers are important, and having, the ability to have a schedule trigger or a Gmail trigger, etc., in here would be really great. And it might be that that's something a developer could do, but it's not something that I could do. And I think it's important I be able to as well. But I'm sure this will just continue to improve in the foreseeable future.
Okay, I need to.
Did you switch screens? Are you intentionally on this screen?
Oh, sorry.
I was like, it's one of those where I see Grant typing like a madman, and all of a sudden nobody's there.
Yeah. So I was just trying to figure out what repo I should do this in, but I'm just going to do a plan. So basically, this is Codex, right? You could go to Codex. You could say like, hey, I want to. Okay, yeah, I got to set that up. I'll do that a different time. But you could go to Codex and you could have it like essentially help you write the same thing that you're doing in the agent builder. But it's just a little bit more complicated to set up. Like this is very easy for anyone to come in, just use a template as a starting point that works, and go from there. Now, let's get to the point where internal knowledge assistant, for example, let's say you're like happy with this and you want to now share it with other people and use it. You can publish. So now this publish workflows can be used in API calls and versions for easy tracking. So I'll just call this internal knowledge test. And I'm going to publish this. Now our question was, oh my gosh, does this publish this right away to everybody? No, it does not. It makes it accessible to you. And then, obviously you have the version, the workflow ID, quick start. You can clone a sample app, which is cool. And then obviously you can do the agent SDK here. You can just add a domain to use ChatKit. So this generates a public key for use on specific domains. So if you wanted to add this to your website, like we were talking about, you would generate a key.
Just drop your domain and go.
Yeah. If you want to just access this workflow ID in another use case, you just copy that. And that will automatically let you be able to use this workflow somewhere else. And then obviously you can copy the code and run it in your application separately.
That is what N8N doesn't have easily.
Yeah.
To me, where this maybe falls short on let's say, just the sheer breadth of options you can enter. What it does have is a really cool, smooth and easy, anyone can do it system for deploying them, which I think is pretty awesome.
Yeah. And then the one thing I have not tested, which I really want to test, is how do I call this in a chat application? You know what? I am going to figure that out and separately because we're basically at the end of this.
Yeah, we're basically at the end.
Yeah. So
any final thoughts, Grant?
No. Any thoughts from the audience? Any questions about how this all works? It's pretty interesting. The other thing I was going to say is the other criticism that people have and why they think this isn't like an N8N killer. Or Zapier killer is that like they just have so many external tools that you can reference and call and like they have like a huge repository of different like preset nodes that you can access.
That's kind of what I was saying about N8N.
Yeah. So the ChatGPT obviously doesn't have that yet. You can use MCPs to connect externally. You can create like the custom functions and custom nodes to kind of add, like, let's say you wanted to chat directly with Google Sheets or something like that. You can pull that data in. It's just a little more complicated.
Awesome.
So N8N like still I think has a value as like being a universal node
Yeah.
building for agentic workflows. But if you want something that's like really easy to get started with, you either haven't done end-to-end or you want to work directly with OpenAI's agents tools,
or you already have your Google Drive or whatever connected to OpenAI, don't want to connect it to another tool even, there's a variety of use cases, and I think each have their strengths and weaknesses, and I think we'll see that play out. Something I would love to see, OpenAI, if you're listening, I would love to see user templates where we can share our templates with one another, and anybody that wants to can just one click implement them. That's a cool feature of N8N and Zapier both that
let's
we
actually show
desperately
that.
need here. Is it really needs a good way, because like I find inspiration in that, like in looking through other people's, I'm like, dang, I should do that.
So this is N8N workflows, like just n8n.io/workflows, and you can just search on here, like let's say like
you can search, by apps, or
and then these are all the role. This is funny. Indonesian stock market research agent
with Sectors app, Gemini, and
you can you can do like, okay, AI. What are the AI options? Convert workout plans to PDF. Let me take this off. Chat.
Convert workout plans to PDFs.
Yeah, why you want to do that? I don't know. Maybe sell them. I don't
know.
Let's see. We can do marketing automation, scrutinize YouTube videos from
transcripts,
summarize, dynamically generate a web page for user requests, analyze landing pages. Like you could type in whatever you want to do. Like I want to make. I don't know if you want to.
I can't imagine a scenario where something exactly like this isn't offered in the near future either.
You want to make your own AI newsletter, compete with us. Here you go, newsletter. Let's see what the options are. Automate newsletter creation and client delivery. Turn YouTube transcripts into newsletter draft. Weekly AI digest with Perplexity AI and Gmail newsletter. So like, for instance, you could click on this and then you do use for free. And then you can copy the JSON code right here, and you can then
and if you subscribe to Cloud, all you have to do is hit that next button, and it just appears.
You're right.
You'll just open it right up in a workflow on your account.
This is just a starting point, right? And it shows you like, okay, it's got a daily trigger, set dates, but it does all of the like structured data, what parts of the workflow you need where, and it saves it for you, which was really helpful. So all you have to do is go to. What's funny is they don't have like an obvious way to get to workflows.
Yeah, and to be clear, this is clunky too. If you go over to product and the word templates is what you're looking for.
Oh, okay.
That's it.
Which is funny because it's workflows.
Yeah.
Huh? Anyway, but there's 6,000 different options that people have shared, right? So there's a lot of starting points for you to just jump in and start building. So Corey's suggestion is a great one. Like, ChatGPT should definitely do this. It creates a community aspect. It builds value in the network. OpenAI should totally have a workflow
and gives new people new to automation both a good way to learn, inspiration for what they could do. That's my favorite. That there's build your first AI agent is the first one when you scroll down.
Oh yeah, this is great. Yeah, so
that was literally what I did. That was my first.
Yeah, and this is like essentially works similarly to the agent builder we were looking at, where it's like you have the input variable is text from a chat. It goes to the agent. The agent has tools that it calls out to, and then it has an output that it
all of which can be changed.
Yeah,
by the way.
that all just happens here.
You don't have to use it as it is, but you could.
So the difference, I guess, is that it's visual, so you can see where the model, what model you're choosing and from what provider. You can add memory so that it remembers your conversation, and then there's tools like you can get the weather and get the news. So those are tools that it can call, and it just reasons based on your the prompt that gets sent, and does it all in this handy node. So instead of having like 3 or 4 nodes in a row that like sort of manages the thinking for you, you're offloading some of your
one bundle
reasoning. Yeah.
So
that's a cool competitor to agent builder. I think they're both valuable depending on what your use case is.
I agree. I think each has its own strengths and weaknesses in a variety of ways. Well, everyone, thanks so much for joining us. Like I said earlier, please like and subscribe if you don't mind. It's a big help for us. We appreciate the interactivity. Abstract Enigma, thanks for the note. That is awesome. I'm excited to see what you build. Make sure we get to find out about it. Yeah. Also, stop by the Neuron.ai. Sign up for the Neuron AI daily newsletter. If you haven't yet, join 600-ish thousand people who get it every morning, written by Grant here.
And the things we're going to follow up on, we're going to share the guides that we asked ChatGPT to create for us. We're going to put all based on the transcript of this into an article. We're going to share all of the YouTube tutorials that we recommend that you follow, so you can follow along to those and check them out, including the Clairvo one, which is really, really good on evals. That's kind of like the biggest bottleneck for deploying production scale AI right now, I think, is evaluating it. And we'll send all of that. Hopefully, we'll have it done by the weekend and share it on Monday.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for watching. Farewell for now, humans.
Bye.